Hello and welcome back to a massively overdue JMD and JTT league review. Apologies I missed last week. I made the mistake of going to London and it's just not good for us Northerners down there. So I came back. Which is probably the train more than London itself. But I came back and was full of a cold for the best part of a week. Yeah, it wiped me out. So apologies for, but I thought nobody needs me getting on a video sounding like crap and sniffling and all that sort of stuff. So if you ask me, I saved you all of that joy for last week, which means we've got a lot to catch up on. Things have changed. The transfer deadline, the NFL trade deadline is in the rear view. The Jets are selling. The Colts are buying. There was a lot going on yesterday, which is good. Obviously, the trade deadlines for our leagues coming up in a few weeks, which could lead me on to a rant about trades, but I'll save that for the main pod if anybody wants to listen to that when we record next week. Right, let's jump in. We've got 5 dynasty divisions and 6 redrafts to go through, as well as a couple of cup competitions. So we'll start off in the Brady division. Just a quick note before we get into the dynasty, we are getting to the serious part of the season. So we have had, we have across the 5 divisions, we've got 4 teams who've secured a 7th win. So congratulations to those 4. If you've got 7 wins, if you are 7-2, you are leading the way in terms of across all divisions, as you'll see. So 4 teams who are guaranteed not to have a losing season, and we have 5 teams who are guaranteed not to have a winning season, who are 2-7. So nobody has only 1 defeat. Nobody has only 1 win. So it shows you how competitive it can be. But like I say, those 5 teams who have 7 defeats and are probably not going to be making the playoffs unless they put 5 straight wins together and get a little bit lucky with points scored. Put 4 teams who will probably be already starting to prepare for the playoffs, including the JMD's Ian Harrison. So we will get to that shortly. Right, let's start off with Brady. So in the Brady division, we also had 3 teams scoring over 200 points again this week. In Brady division, we had the champion, Never Dull in Hull, one of those teams who's 7-2, sorry, Never Dull in Hull, scoring 205 points to beat JMD Pod. Also a massive score from Yeovil Town 49ers, 194 to beat Renisha Speed. Owner of Brady gets their 6th win of the year with 148 points. And then a close one at the bottom, but 5-yard rush Murph edges it 129 to 125. So in the standings, Jamie G's Never Dull in Hull, who are looking to go back to back and repeat, have the most points scored quite comfortably. They are 7-2. He spent $1 of his fab budget and is running away with the Brady division as it stands. So, like I say, 3 wins ahead, 3 wins with a much better points scored over Yeovil Town 49, over Wild Guns, sorry, and Yeovil Town 49 as the 2 teams sat just outside the playoff places. So it's full speed ahead for the playoffs in terms of Never Dull in Hull. Just behind them, 2 teams are 6-3, owner of Brady and 5-yard rush Murph. H's JMD team are 5-4, and then Wild Guns and Yeovil Town 49ers at 4-3. Evdokios and Renisha Speed look like they may be missing out this year at just 2-7. In the Divisional Cup, obviously we had the Divisional Cup semi-finals. That is in your chat if you want to go back and see, if you missed it and want to see who you were playing. Chris Fox, 82. So that's the Yeovil 49, Town 49ers beat Wild Guns, and Evdokios beat Hallam. So it's Chris Fox 82 versus Evdokios in the Divisional Cup final. Remember that each Divisional Cup winner from each division goes through to the grand final in week 11 to win the voucher, and the top score out of those 5 wins a £50 voucher. So you are 2 steps away from winning. So well done to those teams leading the way in the Brady division. In Elway is a little bit tighter. The biggest score of the week was Team Dr. Dre, who needed it because the second biggest score of the week was on the other side of this competition, the JTT Cup commish. lost by less than 2 points. So Dr. Dre wins it, moves to 6 and 3. JTT Cup Commission drops to 3 and 6. Let's have a quick look at this. Where was it won and lost? Big scores for both quarterbacks. Kenneth Walker has let the JTT Cup Commish down a little bit there, as has Devo Samuel. Drake London with a big score. Tyler Warren not putting up the scores he was at the beginning of the year. Matt Gay and Denver Broncos only putting up 7. What did he have on the bench? Caleb Williams on the bench. Cool. Played him instead of Drake May, would have made all the difference. Other than that, Jawan Jennings and Raheed Shaheed would have made a difference over Deebo Samuel. So what could have been for the JTT Cup Commission, he moves to 3 and 6 with wins needed. Elsewhere, Team 89 Monday got their 3rd win. Suarez Power in a close one there, gets their 4th win. And Team Chen Burns beats DS Liddy 92 by 25 to move on to 5 and 4. So Dr. Dre leads the way with 6 and 3. And then we've got 4 teams at 5 and 4. Heads of the table, Chen Burns, DS Liddy and Pestle. Suarez Power at 4 and 5. 89 Monday at 3 and 6, and then JTT Commish also at 3 and 6, as we just talked about. But only 2 games back with I've forgotten how many weeks we've got left. 5. With 5 weeks of the regular season left. So if it keeps scoring like he did this week, there's a chance to get back in that. In terms of the cup, it was Dr. Dre who beat Chen Burns, and he joins 89 Monday in the final. So Dr. Dre against 89 Monday. I will put all of this in the chat, but Dr. Dre against 89 Monday. 89 Monday will play each other in the Divisional Cup final. Oh, there's a trade. Should we have a look at the trade? I hadn't noticed this. 89 Monday receives Kyle Pitts and 2 first-round picks, and he's sending away to ads Brock Bowers. I like it. I like it. Big time trade. Big time trade from the boys in Elway division. Let me know. I'd love to hear other people's thoughts. Brock Bowers, I think, has got to be worth 2 firsts. Depends how you feel about Kyle Pitts at this point. But I think you can't really argue with the value. I think I'd rather have Bowers than them, but maybe cashing in on a big night on Sunday. In the Manning division, moving on. A lot to get through, and then I get distracted with all the excitement around what's going on. Team Scuba Lee, I think this is like it's either the second week on the trot or the second week in 3 out of the last 3 that I've been absolutely battered by the top scorer in the division. But well done to Scuba Lee, 217 points, moves up to 6 and 3. I didn't score particularly well, 140 is all right, but I dropped to 5 and 4. Team Big Bod's got a win to move to 4 and 5. Team Gridiron in the UK moves to 100 with 167, gets his 7th win, and the last waltz beats our champion team, Mungry Pablo, who's looking less and less like repeating, now at 2 and 7. So the division looks like this. Gridiron are 1 foot in the playoffs at 7 and 2. They lead the way. Scuba Lee and the last waltz are leading the chase at 6 and 3. Then there's my Penguins at 5 and 4 with the most points scored against, hence the symbol. Big Bods is chasing me at 4 and 5. Below them, Matty Leo and PDS are not out of it. Mungry Pablo, who, like I say, Hull is the reigning champion, looks like it was just 1 season and no dynasty will be building there. Elsewhere, in the Cup, Scuba Lee was in the Cup semi-final, so obviously he won. Ash Perry on the other end, on the other side of that, so unlucky to Ash, also known as the last waltz. And Gridiron UK will play Scuba Lee in the final of the Divisional Cup after they beat Matty Leo. In the Merino division, we had, this is where the third 200-point score came from. Team the Boy smashing top of the table Manchester Infernos by over 75 points. So a big win there for Team the Boy with 208 points. Team Rookie Raven get their 4th win, keep playoff hopes very much alive against MKC Papa, who is struggling. Surviving Taysom Hill from Ginger Mamba with moves to 7 and 2 with 166 points scored over Team Drift Edge. And Hi Diddly Ho, Neighbor Zeno was on the wrong end of a beating from the Super Bowl champion Dynasty Cowboys. So that leaves the table with 2 teams at the top, 2 of the 4 teams who have a 7-2 record in this division. Ginger Mamba's Surviving Taysom Hill and Ian's Manchester Infernos. I haven't spoken to Ian about this, but I know he's having an up and down season in various, and this is the one. It's not the one league, but it's one of the leagues that he was doing really well in. So to be on the wrong side of the biggest score of the week in this division and to not be top of the division at 7-2 is really going to upset him when he sees that. Dynasty Cowboys keeping their hopes of repeating alive at 5-4, and then 3 teams: the Boy Rookie Raven and High Diddley Ho at 4-5. Drift Edge with a lot to do at 3-6. In the Cup, in the Merino division, it was Drift Edge lost out to Rookie Raven, so Rookie Raven moves into the final, and Ian lost out to Ginger Mamba, so it's Rookie Raven against Ginger Mamba 87 in the Divisional Cup final for that division. And finally, in the Montana division, the biggest score of the week goes to Team Jordan Dixon. Not the first time I've said that. Feels like they've been putting up some big scores. Let's go back. Have a quick look. Oh no, I can take it back. So Jordan was the one who possibly didn't set his lineup last week because he set the lowest score of all time of just 46.78. So a big comeback from there, 190 points to get to the 4th win and keep themselves alive. Just short of that, Blair Walsh Project from Tom Coles, 188 to beat the London Tube Raiders, 170. That's a big score to lose on. JJB Good gets a win with just 133 points in comparison against the lowest score of the week from Corgis Unite. And 162 points was Team Fiona, who gets the win over Craigie Craig. And needed it to get to 2 wins. So at the top of the table at 6-3, Ryan Judge. We've then got 4 teams at 5-4: JJB Good, the Blair Walsh Project, London Tube Raiders, and Corgis Unite. And then 2 teams at 4-5 in Craigie Craig and Jordan Dixon, who obviously both got, or Jordan Dixon got the win this week. So that tightens everything up. 2 wins between the top 4. Fiona is 3 wins off the pace. Off the playoff place at 2-7 with the most points scored against. In the Cup, it was Tom Coles who beat Razamundo to go through to the final, and the Commission's Bro put up a poor 115 to be beaten by Craigie Crago. So Craigie Crago against Tom Coles in the Montana division. All of those winners go through to the Week 11 final as discussed. I think that's it from a dynasty point of view. So for redraft, start on Division A. The biggest score in Division A was Team Ram Raider. So Team Ram Raider 1980, 173 points, gets them on to 6 wins. Also wins for my Iceberg Penguins, gets us to 6-3 against Broken, Beaten, and Scarred. Further down, Rookie Ravens Catch Me If You Can got his 2nd win. Obviously, 2-7 is a little bit better in a 10-team redraft than it is in an 18 dynasty. So that was a crucial win against Team DS Liddy, who also only had 1 win and stays on 1 win. Evdokios, 164 points, gets up to 4-5, and Hot Off the Griddy with 100 scores 153 to move to 7-2. So Hot Off the Griddy leads the way at 7-2. Iceberg my Penguins and the Ram Raiders at 6-3. The playoff places are made up by Providence Steamroller, Broken, Beaten, and Scarred, and the final boss, who are all 5-4. You've then got Avdokios and Long Pink Snapper looking in at 4-5. Rookie Ravens Catch Me If You Can and DS Liddy look like they're done, but with 5 weeks to go, can you make up 3 wins? Of course you can, but you're probably going to have to go 7-7. I don't think DS Liddy is going to be enough at 6-8, even if they ran the table. We will get on to the Cup for the redraft at the end. In Division B, the biggest score of the week was Ian Harrison's 169 points to move to 7-2 and beat Scottish Patriot, who only scored 141. Elsewhere, there were wins for Kittlemix PPR from Shanaplan Man, over the JTT Cup commish. Bodybag Ben 17 from Conor French scored 167 in a high scoring one against Hallam, 157. Staley Clock Crew 157 points against Team Drubert. And the clues in the handle, 111 points was all it took to beat my Penguins of Dallas, who scored 105. I even made a trade right before the 6 o'clock kickoffs on Sunday, and brought in Kamani Vidal, which I thought would get me over the line, but with 3 points, all I just needed 10. 10 points would have been enough for Vidal. Sent away Jordan Addison. In hindsight, not great. So the standings: Ian and Conor French lead the way on 7 and 2. Shanna Planman on 6 and 3, and then Garmo and myself at 5 and 4, and then we've got 2 teams: Hallam and Staley's Clock Crew, which is Spalding 91 at 4 and 5. JTT Cup commish is not out of it at 3 and 6, far from it. Scottish Patriot and Drubert might be struggling at 2 and 7. In Division C, the biggest score of the week was the Gumby Beard, 174. And look at that, they beat Jack Donnelly's 172. That's got to be a breaker. So Gumby Beard moves to 8 and 1 and firmly into the playoff places. 63 against the Baby Broncos, who are now falling away a little bit. Grosey 92 with a win, 147 points. Jamie G's doing well in redraft as well. Absolutely smashed Canal Wolves, who only scored 74 points. And MKC Papa with their 6th win. So the table looks like this: Gumby Beard at the top at 8 and 1, 2 teams at 6 and 3, 2 teams at 5 and 4, 2 teams at 4 and 5. And then Dingling is at 3 and 6. Baby Broncos and Canal Wolves need to probably go 7 and 7. So that's 5 straight wins needed, especially when you look at the points scored. They might be struggling to do that. It might be over for them in Division C. And this is it. We're getting to the exciting point of the season. But if you're not putting up enough wins, it's not exciting, is it? The big score in Division D was SGAFF 84, 188 points and a 70-point win over Bronco Boy, who's also struggling in this division. 4 and 5, I got them to 4 and 5 and keeps them very much alive. Below that, a win for Field of Dreams with just 128 points to get to 5 and 4 against Scottish Patriot, who put up below it. Like this was a tough week. We're going through 8, 9, and 10. Are, I think, going to be the toughest weeks. I was worried about 8. I'm going off on a tangent. I appreciate that. I was worried about week 8 from the start of the season, but now we've got to week 10, and I'm without all my Bengals and Cowboys and whatever Chiefs players I had. I'm also concerned about week 10. I've got some shocking lineups going out this week. A close one for Jack Donnelly, who moves to 7 and 2 with that win. Bear down LCFC could have done with that to go the right side of 500 rather than the wrong. Long Pink Snapper with 177, put up a big score to beat Big Bods. And Evdokios grabs the win by 3 points over Jimmy Nugent to keep them alive. 4 and 5 feels a lot better than 3 and 6. Jack Donnelly leads the way at 7 and 2, 2 teams at 6 and 3, and then Field of Dreams on their own at 5 and 4. 4 teams then split, fighting over what appears to be 2 places at 4 and 5, especially with Fields of Dreams having the top points scored. Big Bods at 3 and 6, by no means out of it. Bronco Boy possibly still could win, but it's going to need to probably go 7 and 7. In Division E, win for my Thunder Penguins to go to 6 and 3, only 122 points scored. Renegade Master only scored 138, also got a win to go to 4 and 5. The big score of the week was Hurts to Do This To You from Jake LP, 190 points. Beats Team Drift Edge is 165, which was the second highest score of the week. He's 3 and 6, off the back of what is obviously a really unlucky defeat. Random Task won with just 113 points, beating James 87 to move to 66 and 3. And the commission's bro, Rama Lama Ding Dong, wins another close one there. So 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, definitely 3, were really close. Galzinho unlucky at 4 and 5. So the table looks like this. Ramalama Ding Dong at 6 and 3 leads the way on points scored ahead of Hurts to Do This To You, the Thunder Penguins, and Random Task, all 6 and 3. We've got Finding Nico on his own at 5 and 4, Brown Bear Rick, Renegade Masters and Galzinho both 4 and 5. Drift Edge and James 87 are 3 and 6. But Goose at the bottom on 2 and 7. As we've said about the other 2 and 7 teams, probably needs to run the table to stay alive or have any chance of making the playoffs. I can't imagine 6 and 8 is going to be enough to finish in the top 6 when the leagues are as competitive as they are. Last but not least, in Division F, the top score of the week was Galzinho's 155 points, just some close scores in this. But that was a big win over MetLife Crisis to move to 6 and 3. Team Pestle moves to 5 and 4 with a 6-point victory over Long Pink Snapper. Bear Down LCFC also 6 and 3 after win over Drubert. Team 66 Kicks won that one by 8 points over Let's Book and Bake, and a win I really needed and never looked like getting. 118 wasn't enough, and I lost the Brown Bear Rick's return of T-Mac, who moved to 6 and 3. So the table looks like this. We've got 3 teams at 6 and 3, and then 4 teams at 5 and 4. Look like it's going to be 6 of 7 there. Let's Book and Bake at 3 and 6, and these 2 teams, including mine, at 2 and 7. It's the only redraft. Well, it's not the only redraft I'm struggling in, but this has been the one that I've really struggled with. Just bad drafting. With the points scored, I am really going to have to find something, as is Long Pink Snapper, to get to 7 and 7. And I think we all know that that's not going to happen. So that's the divisions. If I shut that down, just bear with me a second. Hello, everybody. Remove that. And let's share the cup page. Right, so we are going in. It was 10 weeks, so we're going into the final week of the group stage of the cup competition. There's 10 divisions, so I'm going to quickly flick through these. The link is in the, if you've not even looked at this, somebody asked me a question after we went through this last time. If you haven't looked at it, the link is in the pinned chat on Sleeper. In Division A, obviously 1 week to go. Dingling leads the way at 6 and 3. Scottish Patriot also 6 and 3. Mezzanine 5 and 4, or Mezzanine A from Maz 5 and 4, 66 Kicks 5 and 4, all alive. So this week, Dingling plays 66 Kicks, and Mezzanine plays Drift Edge. Drubert plays Scottish Patriot. So, I mean, if the top 2 win, you're in. Mezzanine beats Drift Edge. He's probably in. 66 Kicks needs a win over Dingling. It's close. The upshot is Drubert B team and Drift Edge's E team both out. I can't work out who needs to do what or not, but if you I can. If you're 6 and 3 and you win, you'll be through. If you're 5 and 4 and you win, you've got enough points scored there that you probably just need one of the other 2 to lose. In Group B, Evdokios is 8 and 1. Evdokios is 8 and 1. You are in the knockout stages of the cup. Congratulations. That second place is going to be Hallam or Jimmy Nugent. If Hallam's B team wins, he's through. If Jimmy Nugent's D team wins by 17 more than Hallam's B team, then he will take that place in Group B. A bit simpler. In Group C, we have another tight situation. In fact, it's tighter. Jack Donnelly and Garmo are both 6 and 3. Jack Donnelly's C team, Brown Bear Rick, and Jake LP of E are all 5 and 4. So that's the situation going into the last week. In Group D, Ian 6 and 3, one with points scored. So Ian's probably going to be in the last in the group in the knockout phases. Ads A team and random tasks E team. One of those two will make up the difference. It's probably going to be Ads if he wins. Random tasks got a lot to do. Got to win and hope that Ads loses. In Group E, Galzinho's F team leads the way. He's going to be in the knockout stages. Mozza's D team and Kamish's Bros E team are the ones fighting for the next place. Mozza wins, he's in. Kamish's Bros E wins, and Mozza loses. He takes his place in second. In Group F, we've got another really close one in Group F. So we've got Brown Bear Rick there at 6 and 3. Two of my teams at 5 and 4. TJ Cardiff Boy and Long Pig Snapper also 5 and 4. I mean, it could go anyway, basically. Brown Bear Rick knows he needs to win. If he wins, he's in the next round. If one of mine win, there's a good chance it's going to be them. Still plenty for these guys to do. In Group G, Ram Raider 1980 is in the knockout stages. Congratulations. Avdokios will join in with a win. If he loses, will probably be overtaken because there's 3 teams on 4 and 5 just waiting to say that. So that's a pretty simple division in Group G. Ram Raiders in. Avdokios, you know your D team. If you win, you're in. Put up a big score, probably in. I realise nobody can see who's playing each other. So you can't see the other scores unless you also happen to be in that division, which I know some of you are. So 3 teams at 6 and 3 in Group H. So Seahawk Sixers, Wallen Farms, and Jamie G10. All to play for. So Seahawk Sixers will have the edge. I think it goes. I'm going to be honest. I thought it went on points scored, but it doesn't look like it is going on points scored. So unless it goes on results between each other, which is something that I can't change at this point. So we'll just have to see how it pans out. First year using Challenge as a website. I thought it was done on points scored. As sleeper is. Anyway, it's never here nor there. The Gumby Beard 9-0, having a great season, scored 1,419 points through 9 weeks. Congratulations to the Gumby Beard, who is smashing it, and it shows up in the cup. So they will be in the knockout stages. Below them, they are joined by either Pestil's F team or Brown Bear Rick's E team, depending on results this week. And last but not least, in J, Shanaplan Man's 8 and 1. He's in the last stages. Galzinho wins, will be in as well at 6 and 4. If he loses and finishes 5 and 5, Ginger Mamba or any one of my 2 teams could sneak in second place. So that's that. So good luck to everybody in the last stages of both the Dynasty Cup and the Redraft Cup, or at least the group stages of the Redraft Cup. The only other thing that we've got to look at is the Survivor Pool. God, we look after you guys. There's so much more going on. There's a lot going on. So we've got 2 weeks of Survivor Pool to review. Got my first loss this week. Right, so let's go back to week 8. There was a loss for 66 Kicks and Ram Raider, who are still in it. There was also losses for Ian Harrison and Konski 77. And my phone's about to go off. So 66 had the Falcons to beat the Dolphins, as did Ram Raider. Both Ian and Konski had the Bengals to beat the Jets. Oh, double blow for Ian. Seahawk Sixers had the Falcons to beat the Dolphins. And it also killed off. So across those 2 matchups, we lost 7 people who lost their second life. So that took us down to 18 left in the pool. We lost this week. We lost another one because Rosamundo went on the Packers. So having lost one life for the Cardinals to beat the Titans back in week 5, he lost his second life this week and left us for good with the Packers. There were also defeats. The two other teams to go, the two other people to go for the Packers, Scottish Patriots and myself. We lost our first life. Most of the wins this week came on the LA teams. So if you backed, in fact, everybody else who's still alive backed an LA team to win. So that leaves us with 17. Did I say 17? That leaves us with 17 left, of which only Hallam 13, JMD pod, PM Big Man, and Jack Donnelly have both their lives intact. So we've got 17 left. 14 have already lost their life as we get into week 10. And you are running, and I don't know about anybody else, but I am running out of teams to pick. So there's been no strategy. I've just gone straight in with the favourite or the team I thought was going to win every week, and now it's starting to catch up with me. Although how the Packers didn't beat the Panthers is beyond me. Right, big weekend of football this weekend. I'm sure you'll all be tuning in to the Germany game to watch the Colts smash the Falcons and get back to winning ways and put that misery of Sunday behind us. We have no Jefferson My Drinks podcast this week. Work clashes and other family commitments mean that we can't, not even two of the three of us could get together at any point this week. But I will be back to review everything in week 10 next week. We will also be back with the podcast for those of you who tune into that next week as well. So as always, thanks for the support. Thanks for getting involved. Any questions, anything you want answering, message me on Sleeper, comment on here. Happy to do it. And I'll speak to you soon. And it'd help if I press the right button. See you next week.